Okay, good evening, everybody. Welcome to the Number by Number podcast. And we are currently on the 73rd episode. And today is Tuesday, February 10th of 2026. And the topic that we will be discussing tonight is relationship. And I feel like relationship is a really broad topic, but I'm pretty sure we will touch on every point of what relationship is and how can relationship affect people. It can be whether it's like a friendship wise, it can be family relationship. There are different types of relationship that we may touch upon. And yeah, and there are different types of relationships, guys. It's not most people assume that relationships all about romantic love and family, but it can go way beyond that. So we will go in depth with the types of relationships, and we can also discuss about what our friendship relationships are and how to maintain a positive relationship because everyone wants to have a positive start off with a positive relationship with someone, and it may be a good time for people to consider how can you show respect, how can you show dignity, how can you enable someone to trust you while being in a relationship. But before we get into the topic, I would like to talk about my past couple weeks since our last episode back in January. So I will start there. So my past couple weeks have been really interesting. So I've been working quite a lot, and it was a pretty interesting turn. And I and the downside really for me was it was really chilly, and we've been really in the teens lately. There were times where we there was a temperature that was above freezing, but still feeling a sense of frigid and utterly unpleasant breeze, especially during the morning. And I've been having not a good quality sleep, so meaning I actually wish that I wanted to sleep more, but the problem is that I am distracted with phones. I often use my phone at night just to check updates on social media, check on updates on personal things. And especially when you're getting ready for bed, it can be really hard to keep track of how long you've been on the phone for and when you actually need to sleep. Your eyes is simply glued onto the phone. And I'm trying to work on creating a plan by coming up with interval plans on when I should stop using the phone at night because I will need the because I usually sleep less than the recommended amount of sleeps as an adult myself. I usually sleep between 6 and 7 hours, but in order to get good quality sleep, I have to find some way to improve sleep. Maybe I might have to reduce the screen time. Maybe I might have to eat early, or maybe I may have to set up a scheduled sleep so I can have enough sleep and be able to make it through the night. So that was one thing that really was a turning point, and wasn't really proud of it, but it happened. Then on the weekends, I tend to work mostly Saturdays. There was one time on a Saturday before work, I ate out at Olive Garden, and the one dish I really tried that I've tried already but really enjoyed was the Calabrian rigatoni with shrimp and steak. So you get the amount of carbs and protein mixed in together while adding this spicy sauce. And I also got to enjoy the nice kale soup as a side. And by the time I finished eating, I would be heading to work. and I would definitely feel full throughout the day. So I'm trying not to eat as much. Then the Sunday, not this past Sunday, but the last Sunday, I went back to Olive Garden again because I really enjoyed eating the Katoni dish. But this time, I substitute the toppings by having meatballs instead of shrimp and steak, just to get that vibe and taste. And didn't really chill much that Sunday. I went straight home, and then I worked again for the past 5 days last week. Then I went out to Olive Garden again this past Saturday, right before work. But the thing was, it was snowing outside. So it was a pretty treacherous drive. So actually, when I was heading to Olive Garden before work, I ended up taking the highway and noticed that a lot of cars were driving slow. So, in order for me to prevent myself from hitting this other cars, I would drive at a slower pace than what the speed limit says, and it would take me at least half an hour, which is maybe 10 minutes longer than what it normally takes me to go. And I ended up getting the same dish at Olive Garden again, rigatoni, no, rigatoni with Calabrian sauce and shrimp and steak, and also had soup, nice kale soup. And then by the time I got to Browse Marketplace, it kind of stopped snowing, but it was freezing that time. And after that, yesterday, I went, I chilled at home and I went food shopping because I was planning to go in Evan's house for a Super Bowl party. It was actually just me and Evan, but I was able to talk with Rahul during the middle towards the end of the game. And as you know, Super Bowl we as the Patriots played against the Seahawks, and as many of you know, we lost. The Patriots lost against the Seahawks, and I think the final score. I think we got 13 points if I remember correctly, and I think Seahawks got 29 points. And I remember during the beginning, the Patriots were struggling a little bit, and especially like you want to get a good reputation, it's always hard to get good points. But more importantly, I was actually happy that at least the Patriots got made it to the Super Bowl, and I applaud them for being themselves. And I always remember seeing the most heated, not heated, but those moments where a lot of players tend to speak together while they're on timeout, or if they need to create a game plan how to succeed. And when I saw the halftime show, it was really interesting. I thought it was gonna be more like a patriotic thing, but at the same time, the halftime to me seems really cool. And at the same time, during my luxury at Evan's house, I was able to talk with Evan and his parents. Actually, I spoke with his parents, and it was a really good time to catch up and also talk about our experience with meeting the New England Patriots coach. So when we talked about last year for the Special Olympics, the football coach for the New England Patriots, actually came. And when I came there, when I heard about the event, the Special Olympics last year, I didn't even know the coach was going to be there. It just said it'll happen on this day, and these are the sponsors that are supporting the Special Olympics. But by the time I got there, I actually saw the coach, but didn't greet him immediately. And during the introduction, there'll be someone singing the national anthem and would say the Pledge of Allegiance. And in this case, the Special Olympics that occurred in my hometown consists of 6 teams, and there'll be 6 stations total. It can range from frisbee, can range from baseball, can range from soccer, can range from any type of recreational activities where everyone can be involved. And at one point, when I was at this dancing area, this dancing session. Out of nowhere, the New England football coach decided to join, and then I then was dancing with him, and then one of my friends' mom decided to take a group picture of us, and Juju and I were actually in one team, and it was a really cool moment for us to really interact and dance with the coach. And I think my favorite part was when I kind of like somehow showed him my moves, and I tried to copy the other moves from the other groups just to bring spirit. And it was a really heartwarming moment for me to really introduce myself to the coach, and he was able to and greet the other players from different teams. And also, Evan, one of our friends, also got to meet the coach. And Evan's dad actually told me he met the coach when he was playing baseball. And based on his dad, he said the coach had to decide to show him how to position his feet and how to hold the bat properly. And I've seen pictures of Evan running in the background while the coach offered a high five. And it was a really touching moment. And I even saw a picture of him and Evan's mom doing like a picture together. And it was really the nicest moments for to bring someone special that who is famous, who used to be the football player for the Patriots, and now decades later he decides to be the football coach. And then all night when I was at Evan's house, this past Sunday, we were talking about the coach a lot, and I even said I'm hoping to meet the rest of the players. It'll be really cool. And by the time when the Special Olympics comes, I think the one of the players that is part of the Patriots football is going to be elsewhere. But maybe the football coach could come back. Maybe a someone from a different sports team in Boston could come. So you never know. And actually, the Special Olympics. This was the second annual Special Olympics last year that happened in my hometown. But the one that happened 2024 was relatively new. No public official came. It was pretty much a daily routine where all the players and athletes get to participate. But the moment last year when I told Juju and Evan about the Special Olympics, they had no idea that the Patriots football coach would be there. And out of nowhere, he just showed up. So it was a really nice and touching moment for us to really meet him. But even though there was a huge, I guess, battle between the two teams, I think the most significant part was that the Patriots was able to be in the Super Bowl 60. And it was really special because it was actually because it's from what I heard, it's not even though I don't watch football as much, I wanted to watch the football because I wanted to honor the football coach who came to the Special Olympics, and it was really cool to actually see him on TV in person while seeing him on TV at the same time. And yeah, it was really interesting, and never be able to forget the moments. But I actually texted in the group chat that I'm part of, talking about what the score is, who's leading so far, and talk about what's really happening during the Super Bowl. And yeah, and it's like I have to wait till the last minute. I think that's another thing too. I knew I need to get ready for bed, but I was just so curious to see what's going to happen towards the end of the game. And then finally, at one point, when the New England Patriots scored something, I was like, "Oh, okay, at least they scored something." So even though the Patriots didn't win, at the end of maybe a couple days after, or maybe towards the end, or after the game was over, there was a chilling moment of one of the football players from the Patriots who brought one, a more of emotional moment of what it felt like to be part of the Super Bowl, and that he appreciates the football players for being there. And yeah, it was unbelievable, but at the same time, it felt really special to really see the Patriots being in the Super Bowl. I remember seeing the other Super Bowls, and it was, yeah, and it was truly blessing to see the New England Patriots being able to make it to the Super Bowl despite being defeated by the opponents. So yeah, it was really cool. And today I just worked and I'm finally here to make it to the podcast, and it was really cool. Yeah, can't. I'll definitely remember the moments from this past Sunday. I think Sunday was definitely one of my most favorite days, even though there was a lot of debates going on, like who's going to win who's going to win the Super Bowl. I know Juju was actually at her friend's house while watching the game, and I have a lot of friends who support the New England Patriots. Some of them went to bars, some of them went to their friend's house to watch the game. So it's like we're all honoring the Patriots team. And the funny part, as a Massachusetts native, I've never been inside a Gillette Stadium, but I was able to go in the plazas and I was able to see what the Gillette Stadium was like during the construction. So really gave me this vibe of seeing how big this place really is. And I know there are plenty of restaurants there. There are plenty of shops where you can buy clothes, you can eat out. And I actually learned that parking is really big. There are plenty of parking spots, but it is hard to find parking, especially when there's a big game going on and the tickets can be expensive. And Evan's dad told me one of the ways to get is you could watch like practice. I think it might be hard to greet the players, especially when the big game happens. They're just like so busy and hooked up with the game. And yeah, it's really fun. So I'm not sure Rahul's back, but yeah, that's how my weekend went. It's a pretty much an eventful week for me, especially with what's going on. And um, yeah, it's really cool. And I will definitely never forget the moments of what it's like to be honoring for the Patriots. And definitely, hopefully soon, I can really meet all the players there. Yeah, so I think since no one's here, I can briefly talk about relationships. So I know, as I said in the beginning, I know relationships, there are different types of relationships, and it can range from, like I said before, most people assume that relationships is heavily focused on romantic relationships, dating, just pretty typical relationship where people there's like a lot of interactions happening. Not in a relationship myself, but a friendship can be considered a relationship because you're trying to develop something in common. Especially like if you're meeting someone new, you will I'm pretty sure you will have to find someone find a way to greet somebody. And as a common courtesy, it's like you want to know the person first, and you will you will um it's like you want to know the person very well first. Start as friends. You may want to develop something common, and I mean, it's always the case. Like you guys may have something different, which is okay. It's like this is really the moment for you to really know each other very well, and and it's like if you want to create like a relationship, it's like you gotta like be yourself, be authentic, and you have to find a way to be yourself in order for like some interaction to happen. What do you think?
Yeah, so I do want to go over what I've done. So these past couple of weeks, I've been helping around the house, and I have been, sweating a lot more than I would have realized, which is interesting. Um, the other thing is, it's a lot of fun because I guess it's because, like, it's a lot of fun when you get to do it, and I'm helping my mother do a lot of it because, yeah, we have to. And the carpet's been cleaned and everything, so that's good. And now we have to arrange the house before tomorrow, which is my birthday. But you know, I I do want to say that like the Patriots lost yesterday, which is sad because like I thought they were gonna play their best, but at least Sam Darnold won a Super Bowl and he won a Super Bowl, and he had to go from the New York Jets to Carolina to San Francisco. He found success in Minnesota, but Minnesota did not want him because I don't know why. And then he went to Seattle. He, I think, is now a Seattle Seahawk of some sort. So yeah, he didn't win MVP. Kenneth Walker won MVP, and it's really cool that he Sam Darnold led a team to the Super Bowl, and yeah, it's really cool. I'm really proud of him, and it's awesome.
Yeah, I saw the Walker. Like I seen clips of him bolting through the players. Like he's probably one maybe from in the show that night that he was running pretty fast, and a lot of Patriots were trying to catch up to him, but he was sprinting through the field just to get to the goalie.
Yeah, so yeah, but that is awesome.
Yeah, even though the defeat was definitely a huge impact on the Patriots, I still applaud them for at least being able to make it to the Super Bowl. You know, it's been a while since they've made it to the Super Bowl.
Mhm.
So at least they can get the vibe of what it's like to be in over there, participating over there, showing their courage to, have fun, be themselves.
Yeah, you are correct, and it's kind of cool in that way because now you get to see the success, and even though our predictions were wrong, it's really cool. Um, I I think it's cool, but at the end of the day, it's just a game, so you kind of have to look at it where people are having fun. So, um, I think, yeah, and then Mike Rabel, I hope he continues coaching at New England. I hope they have success, but yeah, one of the interesting things about this season was is that the Patriots had the easiest schedule, and then like they defeated Los Angeles, first, then Houston, then then Denver, and then when they get the what was it the Seattle Seahawks, they didn't perform well, and it's almost like reminiscent of 2007 when the New England Patriots went undefeated and lost in the Super Bowl. So, I mean, it's different times, but like ultimately speaking, it's quite interesting. I guess you can say. So, ultimately, ultimately speaking, it's, it's good. At least, like I watched it. I had hope when the New England Patriots scored a touchdown, but it was like mistake after mistake after mistake, and um, it doesn't make sense. So I guess we can get into this like I guess we can go into it by saying yes, relationship, which is the topic of today. Um, let's start with this. Like, relationship can be between two people regardless of gender, and it depends on what kind of relationship you're having. So, let's start with friendship. So, for friendship, it's between two people who are friendly. It can be work, it can be school, it can be um outside of those things, like in a general area. And reason why I am saying this, it's because it's April Fools. It's not April Fools, Valentine's Day this week, and Valentine's Day is on the 14th of Saturday. So ultimately, it is something that you have to reconcile with. That yes, and Valentine's Day is about couples together and everything, but let's start with the friendship aspect of a relationship. It's really hard to make friends these days due to, I guess, how socially we are ever since COVID 19. And ultimately speaking, it's really hard to operate like that. So I have to wonder like, Kevin and I have been through two ex friends who we will not name on this show. One of them was Kevin's longest friend, and he ran a podcast that we were both a part of, and it was really sad that Kevin and this ex friend are no longer friends. Now, for the second one, he has not only went after a friend of ours, but all of us. And we've had to block this person, and it is insane that it's not okay. So, ultimately speaking, you could technically say that, well, it's affected all of us. But ultimately, for friendships, it's quite hard to maintain. And yes, your friends are not forever, but I don't like it when people are sociopathic. Um, so I gotta ask, it's quite hard that people are sociopathic. It's quite sad that people are sociopathic in some way. But um, I gotta ask then, um, how does it work? How does it work for everyone? Well, we can't be sociopathic, but what we can be is, human beings.
Hmm.
Yeah.
I think it's you gotta be yourself whenever you start a relationship. I know we're talking about friends. It's like in order for someone to understand you, I think you gotta be honest with yourself. Talk about like what you want. Talk about what you like. You want to be able to do something to for someone to understand who you are, but at the same time, you should be able to understand that person too. And maybe then you could maybe develop something in common. Or even it's not the case. It's like I think the first thing is you gotta be respectful, be mindful of what you're doing, how your actions can positively or negatively affect the person that you're interacting with. And especially if it's the first impression, you want to get a good impression from somebody. You want to make sure that they're comfortable, and yet you want to make sure that you want to create a positive environment for them, and you want them to do the same thing to you. So that way you both can have healthy boundaries together, and that's when you guys can adventure together. And yes, I agree with you that it is hard to make friends to this day, but it's like you need to put a lot of commitment in order for a friendship to work. Maybe you may be lucky when someone may reach out to you. But the thing I find really difficult when meeting friends online is sometimes when you meet someone online, you never know if it's actually the person you're talking to or if it turns out to be someone else. So that's another thing too. So online friends can be useful if you don't feel like you're ready to meet someone yet. But another idea is maybe you could join, especially on social medias, or if there's like a ad, you could then look over and see what's going on, and then maybe you could then network there. So it really depends on it depends on their preference, like if they want to start looking creating friends online first, but just be mindful. Like you never know if if you never know if they're gonna do anything to you, or if they're gonna pretend to be someone else. So you gotta be very careful. And sometimes you may have to, or another idea is maybe you can, if you still interact with your friends, maybe start with them, and then maybe you could then network with new people through your mutual friend in order to gain some not gain additional friends. That's what I usually do because I have a lot of friends who I still interact with, and then that could be something for me to network. I mean, Juju is a good example. She's a pretty much like an outgoing person. She'll tell me, "Hey, I'm planning on going to this place. Do you want to go?" And there'll be times where she may talk with someone that she hasn't met yet, and there'll be times I may walk with her and then have the ability to introduce myself to them. So really, this is really a good way to network, but at the same time, you should be careful, especially the ones you don't know or this is your first time meeting them. But of course, you got to show respect. You want to create a positive thing, but at the same time, you got to be careful. Don't let anyone take advantage of you. So that's another thing to really keep out of. And as Rahul touched upon earlier, there can be toxic friendship, especially for someone you know for a long time. You never know what they're going to do, and I think protecting yourself is definitely a first thing, a priority you need to consider. Knowing that it can, what if someone hurts you, physically tortures you? What if something worse than that happens? Where does it start? Where do you start now? Is it worth keep talking? Is it worth just walking away, even the person may not like it? Especially with, you never know who you mean. You will. There'll come a time where you may deal with someone who may not be pleasant with you. You know, it's like a very complex. Can be complex. Sometimes a person who has a like a cocky attitude doesn't always mean they're abusive. It it even though it may not sound pleasant, it's just that like I said in the beginning, you gotta be mindful of how your actions can affect someone's well being, even if you're not your intent to degrade the person. In this case, if you don't mean to degrade the person, they may think otherwise based on how you portray yourself, based on how you speak, based on how you act, even though it may not be your intent to attack or demean somebody.
Yeah, and sociopathic. What do you think about like sociopathic people?
Like crazy people or
Sociopathic. So antisocial personality disorder.
anti-personal social. Yeah. So people who are gonna be mean, right? If they're not gonna like want to speak to people, I mean, if they're gonna be disrespectful to people, knowing it can affect their well-being. I'm pretty sure maybe the person who's a sociopath may not know the how much damage they did to somebody. Um, but even if it's intentional, like they should be able to pay attention to body cues, and if they're gonna go after more people, they may they may as well warn other people of what you're doing based on your negative behavior, based on your negative actions. How's it going to affect people in the long run?
Yeah, I mean that's a good point. Not only that, uh, I think it's like, um, it doesn't work out. It's not okay. Um, it's not okay, and Like, it doesn't make sense.
Right. Um.
So ultimately, yes, I totally agree. Like, it's not okay, but for someone who's a sociopath, they can be good or bad. That's the
Mhm.
key thing. So, being antisocial is a part of your personality. That's why it's called antisocial personality disorder, or ASPD. So, having a relationship with a sociopath, friendly or romantically or working, is really, I think it would be difficult because they don't socialize as much. Now, are all sociopath people are bad? No. So it's half and half.
Mhm.
While for psychopaths, they're always going to be bad, but they put it out to be like that.
Yeah, it's or maybe there's simply people who may not be interested in talking with somebody. Maybe they're just focused on themselves.
Yeah, and ultimately, um, it works out in the end, but it doesn't always work out in the end for bad sociopaths and generally psychopaths. But you have to make sure who is the good, um, what you call sociopath. Yeah. Hi, Evan. Mm-hmm.
Hey guys,
Hey,
sorry, this
Evan.
is my first time. By the way, I've been on I've been watching this been seeing the podcast much earlier, in this hour. A little late though. Sorry about that.
No, no, you're
It's
good.
you're good.
Glad you joined tonight.
Yes. What
Hey.
have you? What have So for the audience, this is Evan. He is one of Kevin's lifelong friends since elementary school from the task group.
Preschool.
Yes.
Pre-
Um. Mm-hmm. Um. Evan. What have you been doing for the past couple of days?
well, I've been working at my part-time job at the shop. I've been going, been doing a little been reading a book, preparation for a TV show.
Hmm. That's cool. Um.
Oh, before we get into the topic, I don't know if you want this, Evan. If you're interested, you want to tell us about yourself, like, what's your name and what have you been doing? When did you attend and graduate high school? And yeah, if tell us about yourself for the audience.
Um, I'm sorry, I didn't quite get that, Kevin. The audio seemed a little, like it was breaking up. The audio seemed like it was breaking up. Could you
Oh
repeat
no,
that, please?
yeah, of course. So, do you want to talk about yourself? Tell us about yourself. What's your name? What schools you went to? What was your favorite things you did during your time at school? And what college you went to and what you've been doing up to? I know you said you're working, but what? Also talk about what you like to do.
Uh, sure. My name is Evan Shimura. I am 29 years old. Am I like playing video games, watching TV, going on walks, and recently skateboarding
Oh, nice.
with my new skateboard Damon. And I'm also like an animator and an artist, an aspiring cartoonist, and also a writer. And I dream to create like a well-received TV series.
Oh, that's awesome. Yeah. You like graphic stuff, right? Like drawing graphic digital drawings, right?
Yeah,
Yeah. So yeah, I've known you for a
yeah.
very long time. When we were in preschool, I think in 2000, which is more than at least a quarter of a century. Isn't that unbelievable?
Actually, I think we've known each other since 1999, late 1999.
Yeah. Oh my god. Tell me, like I can't. I don't want to be that old. Yeah, that's good. Yeah, I'm glad we're still friends to this day. Yeah. So yeah, did you? So you want to tell us again? I know you told us before, but do you want to tell the audience like which schools you went to and what were your favorite moments you did in each of the schools you went to before you graduated?
Okay. I went to uh all every single school, like from preschool to college. If it is, I'd be happy to go for it. I just want to know.
Oh, what's that?
Oh, so like, is this gonna be so from like preschool to college? If it is,
Yeah,
I'd be
yeah,
happy to go for it. I just need to
yeah,
know.
definitely.
Okay. All right. I guess kind of tough. They're a fit school, and I like that it was well the okay. Admittedly, well, I like that I got to meet my friends there. That was the best part, and then there was
Yeah.
the bank school. It was really cool having to see like the scenery there. Best part, especially with the library. That place was awesome.
Oh, yeah.
And then there was Stanley, and it's hard to tell. There was a lot of good memories, but one of the
Mhm.
best memories was probably like spending recess in second grade with Kevin and a friend of ours, Katrina. But there was also like other ones, like hanging out with like this kid named Victor Cruz. We were friends,
Oh, yep.
like being in like a and then there was McDevitt. My favorite moment, I honestly gotta say, seventh grade was probably the best year for me. So many good
Oh,
things from that.
oh, yeah. I know we're talking about relationships and friendships, but remember when I was in seventh grade, I joined with you guys in sixth graders when we had Miss Bellman together, and then I was able to meet your friends. Oh, I think he must have breaking out. I think.
Yeah, I it's super cool, like hearing you guys talk about it, and it's okay. Um, um, it's
Oh,
cool. It's
yeah.
cool.
I think Evan's back. Hello again.
Yeah, I think there was like a audio issue. I think there was like a camera, like what connection issues.
Oh, okay. Oh, remember the time when you were in sixth grade? I joined you guys.
Yeah, I remember that. Wow,
Yeah.
it was a really good
Do you
time.
want
It
to
was a really
tell?
good time.
Huh?
It was a really good time.
Yeah. Do you want to tell? I already told this, Rahul, but you want to tell your perspective? I know I know our topic is about relationship and friendship. We will go there eventually, but do you want to tell us what you remember about me being with you guys as a sixth grader while I was a seventh grader at McDevitt, and who we met together?
Sure, go ahead.
No, oh no. So I was wondering if you want to discuss our time when
Oh
we
yeah,
have
absolutely.
times together.
All right, so like Kevin was in my math class with our sixth grade with my math research room math teacher Arlene Bellaman, and there was also like I think there was also like there was also wasn't there didn't we also have like a health class together?
Yes, it was Miss Sibelius, I believe. Was it Miss Sibelius?
Yeah, Miss Sibelius. Miss Sibelius, yeah, Mindy Sibelius.
Yep.
And
There
there was
was like
also like
it was there was like an assistant teacher. Remember the assistant? I think it was Mr. Baxter that would always join with us
yep,
most of
that
the time.
guy is amazing. Love that guy from the first day.
Yep. Yep. Um, yeah, it was definitely good. I definitely like. interacting with your classmates. I know you guys were part of the class of 2016, and that's how I actually felt more close with your classmates more than my classmates. Because, oh, I told Rahul this reason. I'm sorry, Rahul. Do you mind if I tell this story before we move on to relationships? So, the reason why I joined with you with the sixth grade with you guys rather than having regular ed classes with the students in my grade is because my parents wanted me to be not to utilize the special ed classroom as much. So, but at the same time, Miss Bonnyman, I'm pretty sure you remember Miss Bonnyman, thinks that might be nervous, really picking up the pace and interacting with the students from in the same grade I was. So that's why I joined with you guys. I was literally a grade above you guys. Um, so that's how I knew most of the class of 2016. And do you remember who was in Miss Velleman's classroom? I know there's plenty of them. I know most of them, not all of them, but do you want to list out who was?
Yeah. There was John, there was Chris, there was Matt, there was Lewis, there was Brianna, there was Jaylene, there was Cynthia, and there was Deontay, and then there was Andy, and there was Orlando at one point, and and there was Dakota.
Oh yeah, I remember James Malave.
Oh yeah, and James Wright, yeah, Malave, him too.
Yeah, have you been in touch with James Malave?
No, I haven't seen him since June of 2016.
Same. It's been like wow, 10 years already. And then I
Goodness.
remember we had computer classes together with
Yep, educational
Colin.
literacy.
Yes, with Colin's mom. I know Rahul knows Colin. Colin.
Cole McCrary.
Yes,
Yes.
Colin McCrary. Colin McCrary, because I have Colin McCrary in my class for the task group, and his mother actually teaches at McDevitt.
Oh yeah, Allison McCrary.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. And it was from there. I remember actually when we were in computer class, you, James, and I actually met Vinny for the first time. Do you remember Vinny there in that classroom?
I didn't remember Benny from that classroom.
I saw him in that class. I don't think he remembers me. He just says he remembers seeing me in McDevitt. But that was the first time I saw Vinny in the computer class. I forgot who else was in the computer class, but I definitely remember Vinny. Oh yeah, and during that time, actually, Rahul, this is interesting. So, there's like back when we were there were two clusters. Evan and I were in 6A. So they're in the same grade. They're just in different sections, just to based on the amount of students that can fit in each classroom. So that's why they came up with 6A, then 6B, and there's 7 North and 7 South, 8 East and 8 West. So those were the clusters. So there were 6 clusters total. But Evan and I were in 6A together, and that's where Miss Velleman's classroom was. Nowadays, there's like 3 clusters each grade, but back then there were 2 clusters each grade. And yep, Evan and I had computer. We also had a resource math with Miss Woods. I forgot who was. I forgot who was.
Passport.
Yeah, who was? I forgot who was there.
I believe there was this girl named Marissa, but
That's
as
right.
far as I
Yep.
remember.
Yep, I remember Marissa. Um, Lewis, I believe, was there. Lewis Gonzalez.
Yeah.
Oh my God, who else? There was like a handful amount of people there. I just forgot. Um, yeah, and then by the time when you were in 7th grade, I actually joined with the 8th graders. Oh yeah, we also had gym classes together too.
Really, gym class?
I believe so. I don't remember.
I think I might remember that.
Yeah.
Kind of.
Oh my God, talking about like more than 15 years after this. I feel old now. um, and there were times where we see Martha Garcia. I don't know if you remember Martha Garcia. Yeah.
Oh, I do
Um,
remember her.
yep. Yeah, I feel like we had a lot of classes together when I joined with you guys before I returned with like being able to attend classes with my peers from with in my grade the year after.
Yeah. Well, I do want to say it's important to have childhood friends because you grow up with them. And oftentimes, like nowadays, it's like it's a concept that's going away because of like how we interact with each other, how we
Yeah.
treat each other, and what we do. And it's like I reunited with Juju back in 2020 during COVID. And it's like that's really strange because I never really thought she would do that, but I'm thankful for that. And ultimately speaking, it's good to reconnect that way. Also, it's good to connect with other people in the world, but like I don't like the fact that um like in work, for example, you have colleagues, but my thing is you can be friendly, not be friends, because if you're friends, it creates like a weird dynamic, like you're their colleague and your friend. That doesn't make sense to me.
Mm, I
I
mean,
don't
you can
mind it.
talk, but it's just like you just can't cross the boundaries. But
I don't
I
mind it.
remember.
I feel
Go ahead. Sorry.
I don't mind it. I personally don't mind it. I mean, I like seeing like friends having friends at work. It feels good. Like I got my shopper job. I was quickly interacting with so many people, or at least trying to be interacting with them. And I ended up getting some friends. Although I already had a friend there as well.
Yeah. Yeah. Evan and I met. Yeah, like Evan said, we were in preschool at that time. Remember yeah, remember I know you touched that we went to Fitch school together, but do you remember the room, what the room looks like and who we also met there?
Well, it was the basement floor. I believe there was an eating table. There was a main area of sitting, and then there was and there's also there was also this timeout place that I'm not really gonna go too deep into.
Mhm. I remember there was like wooden walls and this white big computer PC computer and
Yeah. And the person,
there'll be yeah.
sorry, go ahead.
Oh yeah. Wait, so I think so Matthew was there, I believe. Matthew, um Nicholas, Alex Nicholas, Annie was there, Thomas, Max. I forgot who else was there. I think that was it, right? And then eventually, I remember Christian came. Josh, this remember this cranky kid named Josh? He would cause a scene.
Um,
I don't know if you remember. It's been a long time.
hmm.
I don't know if you remember Christian Delsid.
Oh yeah, I remember him.
Christian Delsid. Um, oh my god. Do you remember when Danny started classes with us? Was it like in 2001 or
Mm,
something? Yeah. I
no,
remember Danny came like right after or something. I don't remember. Yeah. And then throughout the years, the special ed curriculum started to grow out more with more kids. Um, yeah, it's just those good times. Oh yeah, before we go continue talking, do you want to talk about your high school and your college experience before we
well,
move on?
my best part in college might probably have to been my sophomore year. I felt like that was when the most good things happened.
Yeah,
Still had its moments, but it was probably when the good things happened.
yeah,
And then there's and then there's Newbury College, and the best part was probably was probably in my spring 2017 semester, like my first spring semester there. Probably like so many good things happening there. And then there was Leslie University. Even though like I spent most of that time being like involved in the main building at like Leslie University back in September 2019. That was great. My favorite semester might have been my spring semester in 2021. Like there was a lot of like good things happening, especially in like pretty much 2021, and for the most part, like and like it's just like and I felt like my professors really like tried their hearts out, and the classes were really good. I felt like there was just so much passion from it.
Right. Yeah. It's like you gotta love what you do, and then there'll be someone who will help you out. That's a type of relationship there.
Yeah,
What?
yeah. Well, like you have a teacher student relationship, you have your classmates, um, and I will say, for the audience, you should not have a romantic relation. There should not be romantic relationships between teachers and students because that can land a teacher on the sex criminal list.
Yeah. I've heard sad incidences where there's mostly I'm talking mostly for like the male teachers. There'll be cases where there will be male teachers be accused for touching a lot of female minors,
Mm-hmm.
you know, to, and for some reason there'll be like an investigation on what the teacher did, and then there'll be parents that may pursue like an action against the teacher.
And even like female teachers to male students.
Oh my god.
Yes. And to touch upon that, Evan, a lot of female teachers have ended up pregnant by the male student.
It's embarrassing. It's like why you it's like here's the first question is why are the female teachers taking advantage of the male students by doing something that they shouldn't do, resulting in them being pregnant? Like that's not the relationship they should pursue. Their main focus is to help the students succeed, not like go beyond that, because that's beyond their that's crossing boundaries right there.
And from a psychological standpoint, a child doesn't have the capacity to give consent for sex.
That's true.
That's that's why a lot of states or countries even have the age of consent for sex at 18 or above. In the United States, for example, like I live in Texas right now, the age of consent to have sex is 17 years old. So you could have a junior or senior and above having sex. And no, I don't recommend it because it's wrong. And ultimately, if you have like a sexual relationship at that age and you end up pregnant, it's going to be really hard.
Mm.
What wasn't there, Kevin? I know you've told this story, and Evan, I don't know if you know about this, but wasn't there a student or someone who was pregnant in high school?
Oh, I think I don't know if one of my classmates from my grade during my high school year got pregnant. I think there was a possibility at least one of them got pregnant. Yeah, but even that's the case, it's a lot of burden, financial responsibilities. I mean, even though they're still living under the parents' roof. Maybe one. I could be wrong, but I feel like there was one person in my grade who got pregnant. How about you, Evan? Do you know anybody from your grade who witnessed it?
No.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I mean, a teacher can have a professional relationship with students as far as giving them the right material, giving them guidance on how to succeed. But in a romantic relationship, like beyond platonic, that kind of thing, no, no, not sexually, no, none of that. The only way you can provide to maintain like a relationship is like provide support, moral support. That's it. Help to ensure that students succeed. Give them guidance how to have a better day or something. What do you think? What do y'all think?
Yeah, I agree with that, especially since, and it's very clear for teacher student relations. One or the other cannot cross the boundary, otherwise, you're gonna end up on the sex criminal list.
What do you think, Evan?
I am not sure if I can not sure about talk about this. It's just I'm not sure if I got much to say.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
I think for just to be honest, it's like you gotta be careful what you do as a teacher because sometimes when you do something beyond than what you do, it could be risky. It can be risky.
Yeah. I do want to move on for a moment. So, let me ask you guys this. Have you ever met a sociopath? If so, how was that person like?
I have. I'm not going to mention names, but I have at least met at least one or two of them. One of them, I'm going to talk about recent. So there's a time where there were times where one of our friends who like I guess he's not like here's the thing he'll want to find somebody to hang out with, which I acknowledge very well. And yeah, anyone should be in touch to spend time. Here's the thing. There was like one of our friends that we know very well, that you're friends with a long time, decide that she needs a break because she has other priorities that she's dealing with now. And the problem is, I guess, the ex-friend expected more from her. And there came to a point where she was just fed up, and because she has other priorities, or maybe she doesn't feel like hanging out. But this ex-friend doesn't accept the outcome of what she cannot do. So there'll come a point where he'll demand her to do things with her just because she doesn't have anything planned. And there came to a point where she was tired of having to deal with with him, and it was mentally draining for her. Like it was just too overwhelming for her to deal with, and she knew like she had to find some way to maintain distance because she simply doesn't want to be bothered. And yet the problem is there came a time, there were many instances where he would show up at her house on many occasions after being informed that she wants to be left alone, and yet he did not like that kind of response. So he would show up at her house demanding her to like see if they can resolve any issues together, and for the most part she doesn't want to. And they came to a point where she felt agitated because of how much pressure he's putting on her, and that's when she decided that there has to be a wake up call. And she and then ultimately she got a restraining order against him for simply wanting to be left alone, and for him showing up at her house uninvited after telling multiple times that she wants to be left alone. It was a difficult decision for her, but at the same time, it's like she has to prioritize her well-being, knowing that if she's going to continue being engaged in this hostility, then what could happen to her? It's like this is, and yet the problem is he would still rant about her, you know, through some of our friends. asking them about her whereabouts, and she just had enough of it. You know.
Yeah, and it's like it's kind of crazy, like how it is. And I know the ex-friend you're talking about, I think Evan, but we're not going to mention his name for the purposes of this episode. But I do want to say that it's really sad when that kind of sociopath does something like that. And the other one, yeah, it's not okay. So, Evan, have you ever met a sociopath before? If so, how was that person? And you don't have to mention the person's name.
I'm not really sure. I'm not sure about like socio. I'm not sure about it right now.
Hmm.
Really talk about it right now.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Do you want to like maybe in summary like talk about like how to maybe prevent how to prevent someone from interacting with someone, like maybe talk about in a general point of view, and then maybe say like how to prevent toxic relationships.
Hmm. I'm not sure. I'm still having a hard time like trying to like still like trying to like do what I can to like keep away from the wrong crowd. I just want.
Hmm. Okay.
Yeah, I understand, Evan. Like, it's very hard, especially like if you're around them. Like, you have your friends, and then you have, as you said, the wrong crowd. I think maybe like identify who is in the wrong crowd and then just stay away from them. Yeah. So that way you can be with your friends. Um, Kevin, is that a good way of putting it?
Yeah. I think my thing is like, here's the thing: if you're not in good terms with this person, because I've dealt with some people before who, I mean, it's not always the case, but talking about one person who is causing a lot of issues for simply like attacking us just for simply wanting to like find time to hang out with despite my busy schedule. And I try to be as civil as I can, letting him know like, hey, I don't have anything planned, I'll let you know. And there may most of the time he'll be like, um can we do it now? I'm looking for somebody to hang out with. I mean, I feel bad. I generally feel bad, but at the same time, it's like there came to a point where it's like I cannot. It's like I have other priorities I have to focus on right now. So, and it came to a point where I felt mentally drained because he was pestering me. And there came a point when he wanted to like figure out where I live, and I when I saw the message, I just didn't think it was okay for him to say those things because it really violated my. It's like a privacy violation, if that makes sense. And I mean, most importantly, I just don't want him showing up in front of my house to the point where he's gonna ask me to do things for him. There came a time actually I saw a message saying he wants to bribe me. It's I understand like he may feel upset because of the outcome that happened between him and his ex friend, right? But it's like he has to learn that, like I said in the beginning, the actions you bring can positively or negatively affect the person. So obviously, for this case, he's putting so much pressure, and it just came to a point where she felt uncomfortable with him, and that's why she chose to block him in for a restraining order, just for the sake of her well being. So if you know you're gonna deal with someone who's gonna demean you, or if they're gonna attack you, make fun of you, it's like the best thing in my case. I usually just walk away. I try not to make a scene because I don't want to cause any problems. But at the same time, if they're gonna repeat it after attempting for me to walk away, I have to do something. Maybe I would be upfront saying, "Hey, can you leave me alone?" But if they're gonna refuse, I have to do something else. Maybe call the police or something to get them to leave me alone. It is a really complex situation. It just depends on like what you think is best for you. How can you stop the situation?
Yeah, I fully agree with you. Um, yeah, and it works out really well. Oh, we have a wild Josh. A wild Josh has appeared. Josh, how are you doing today? And how's been your past couple weeks?
Uh, I'm doing well. How are you guys doing?
Good.
Good.
There you go. Yeah, the reason I didn't join the last podcast is because I needed a break because I was shoveling 2 feet of snow.
Well, you're all good. Um,
Yeah.
yeah. What have you been doing for these past couple weeks?
Nothing really. I've been working. Um, I watched Super Bowl Sunday night. It was a good game despite the Patriots losing.
Yeah. Um, are you sick, Josh?
Am I sick? No.
Oh, okay. All right. So for you, Josh, what is a relationship to you?
A relationship, and I'm making a general statement on this. A relationship is someone we're in love with, but more importantly, a strong connection, regardless of whether it be family member, close friend, partner, you name it. That's how I look at it.
Yeah, I feel like there's a type of different relationships. Earlier before you joined, Evan and I were talking about our friendship back when we were in when we started in Fitch schools and preschool, and how we progressed through the high school. And actually, Evan and I have been friends for 26 years now, I believe.
Whoa, 26? Oh my God.
Yes, 26 years. Long time.
Yeah.
I think you and I, Kevin, and probably you too, Evan. I think I've been friends with both of them for, I want to say at least, if not more than 12 years.
Yeah. So I do want to say that, like, oh, okay, yeah, um, hmm, okay, I'll say
Oh,
this.
sorry.
Yeah.
Mm.
So I do want to say, now I'm hearing myself. Okay. Yeah. Um. Uh, do you guys hear double echo?
Yeah.
Oh.
I
I
don't
do.
know.
Hmm. Okay. All right. I'll continue talking. So can raise your hand if you can hear me. Okay, good. All right. I'll ask this question. Why do people say that boys and girls can't be in a friendship?
Wait, what do you mean?
So, like, some misogynists and sexists believe that a man shouldn't be friends with a woman because a woman doesn't offer anything other than having kids and being in the house and everything.
Oh, hmm. I guess I could. This might sound wrong, but I feel like the reason why it happens that way because they, in case if guys want to start a relationship with the girls, and I mean, I do see a lot of that happening, and usually, like every time I go out to social events, I usually see guys hanging out, unless if they bring a date, right? You know, it's. I mean, it tends to be easier to make friends with with the same gender together because because of the because it's more like a generic interest that they may have. I'm not saying generic interest as like as to label them. It's just usually guys like to hang out, like men like to hang out because they like certain things, while women may like they tend to hang out for certain things that they like. I think my main point is maybe men, maybe it's because they think that a guy may want to seek a relationship with a girl or something.
Yeah.
That's my
um,
guess, but yeah.
yeah, Josh, what would you say to a person that men and women can't be friends unless it's for like a relationship or even sex?
I would say that would most likely be the case in case you're like a cousin to them uh or or long distance family per se. Uh,
Hmm.
but but there is enough chance that they may or may not have a date, and if their date finds out about this, well, things won't go well. Let's just put it that way.
Do you
I'm
think
not
it's
gonna get.
Do you think it's misogynist or sexist to think that way?
Hmm, that's a good question. I mean, I guess it depends on the outcome. Well, again, if it's like a if it's like a friend zone, if you will, it'll be it'll probably be sexist, especially if that person has already a date.
Yeah.
Um,
I mean, the reason why I say
hey,
this, Josh, before you continue, is because a lot of these right wing people think like the woman should stay in the house, shouldn't work, shouldn't drive, shouldn't do things, just be in the house, cook, clean, and have kids. And then they also think a woman having a social circle is bad and having male friends is bad. Because if a woman has male friends, that's wrong. Like you can't have friends from the opposite gender.
yes. It's okay for guys to have guy friends unless they're bringing a date, like Kevin said. But
I feel
having
like it's
having
common.
having you know if you're a male and you have female friends, I think I'm not gonna say it's wrong, but I just don't think it'd be a good idea because what if your date finds out about that? It just depends. I'm just making a general statement on that.
Or maybe the
Yeah,
women aren't ready to be in a relationship.
Yeah.
well,
Oh yeah.
well, how about this? You can be platonic,
Yeah,
but you can't be romantic. Is that
right.
okay, Josh? Is that okay,
Yes.
Josh?
Yeah.
Okay, I just wanted to clarify what you thought. That's it. Um, Evan, do you have a answer to that? Do you think men and women can be friends?
They can be platonic or romantic if they consent. It's completely up to them, both of them.
Hmm. Okay. So, all right. We have female friends. We've had female friends in the past. My only thing is, it's like, how do I ask this then? What would you do in a situation where, like, someone thinks that having a female friend is bad or having a male friend is bad.
I'm sorry, I'm having a hard time understanding with from hearing the double volume that's going on your side. I mean the
Oh,
double volume in general. I heard double volume.
okay. Um, Josh, what would you do if a friend of yours or a person of yours thought that having a female friend is bad from your male friend, or your female friend thinking that male friends are bad?
I this is a general statement, but I think it's bad for a male friend to have a female friend because, for one, the female friend
Wait,
might
hold
not
on.
be
Wait,
actually.
wait, wait. Hold on. Let me rephrase. Let me reword it. If
Mm,
you had a male friend and
mm,
he thought female friends are bad, and if you had a female friend and thought that male friends were bad, what would you do in that situation?
mm. I would, I would probably explain to them how female friends can be bad to male friends because they could already have dates, and which is probably the same case for female friends having male friends. So I
Like
guess if
like platonically, you're saying?
yes, platonically.
Yeah. Like, and also, I kind of understand, like, if you have a partner and you don't, maybe you want to have less female friends or less male friends.
Mm.
Is that what you're trying to say?
Yeah, pretty much. You want to have more. You want to have more friends of your gender as opposed to the opposite gender.
Is it because, like, you don't want to be romantic?
It's actually because you want to show loyalty.
Ah, okay. Well, I guess. Kevin, how would you respond to that? Like, how would you respond to a male friend of yours not wanting female friends and a female friend not wanting male friends?
I feel like it has to do with interests. Like every time I go to, every time I go to hangouts, I usually see a lot of guys doing their own things because I feel like they may have the shared interests that may be a little bit different from what women's interests are. When I think of like like women's, like I think of them going to the mall. I think of them going to finding time to put makeup on, that kind of thing. I feel like for the men, they think of something else. Maybe they may think of video games. They may think of, just, I guess it has to do, maybe it could be the interest, but at the same time, maybe another reason why is because, especially for the female, I'm talking about a female person, like, what if the male friend decides to take advantage of the women? Like, I'm not saying platonically, but like a man wants to desire a relationship or maybe do something that women may find inappropriate or uncomfortable, like guy touching a woman inappropriately. You know, maybe they feel insecure. I mean, this is more towards the women's side. They may feel insecure when a guy would take advantage of a girl, like maybe touching them or, just do something out of the norm where women may feel uncomfortable. You know,
Yeah, yeah, um, yeah, and I think it's a good thing that it happens like that because oftentimes, it can happen. I will say though that like I ask this because like far right wing people think like this for whatever reason. I don't know, like and like I said, they think like women suck at everything. Well, by that logic, that's not okay.
Mm. I feel like maybe maybe they think they're being viewed as objects or something. Maybe that could be the
And
reason why.
yeah, and ultimately that is not okay. So, okay, well then that begs the question. So I do want to ask then, um, what would you then do in a situation where, I'll start with Josh. Josh, what would you do if your friend thought that women suck at everything, women shouldn't do anything other than the kitchen and kids, and thought that women are a bunch of sex objects?
I would totally have to disagree with that because, for one, women should have jobs just like men. And on top of that, um, women shouldn't be restricted to just one particular job.
Well, I'm asking, what if a friend of yours thought that? What would
Oh,
you do then?
um, if a friend of mine thought that, I would probably have to disagree because um, everyone should be treated equally regardless.
Mm. Would you not be friends with them anymore?
No, because there are because we do have disagreements. As long as the situation or the topic doesn't escalate, there shouldn't be anything to worry about.
And it doesn't get violent.
That too, or
Yeah.
manipulative.
Yeah, exactly. Kevin, what would you do?
Sorry, could you repeat the question again?
What if one of your friends thought that women suck at everything, women shouldn't do anything other than be in the house and have kids?
So if I would say if I have a lot of female friends who are in that situation, you mean, or
Well, if one of your friends thought that,
I think they need to pay attention differently, pay attention on what they're saying. Maybe they're used to characterizing women because of the things that, there's a thing like over the times, like w- women were being treated like objects. And nowadays, it's like now women are capable of doing anything they want. So I think it's about like talk about the historical the timeline. They got like what's happening now rather than automatically assume what women should do. Like that happened back in the days. Like the time evolves. It evolves over time. So maybe try not to make assumptions about them just because of what they have done, what the women were capable of doing in the past, and then be able to focus on listening to you know what paying attention to like what the women want,
mm,
especially anyone's entitled to do anything they want. It's just like you gotta be careful what you say. You cannot just like characterize women. Oh, women does this, this that, and then men do this.
yeah, I mean, imagine if you said that to your work friends, like, women suck at everything. You should be kept in the house, cook, clean, and have kids. That will not end up well, and you will probably be fired from your job.
All right, that's like discrimination there. It's like through gender, and at a job you're not supposed to discriminate anybody regardless of your race, regardless of your gender. It's like at the end of the day we're all human beings, and anyone can do anything really. You just cannot make what's that word? I'm trying to think of a good word. You just can't like be stereotypical just because what a a man or a woman can do based on describing their abilities stereotypically.
Yeah, and ultimately, you can't force them to do certain things.
Right.
Um, do I agree with it? I don't agree with it. And even if it was flipped to where women thought a certain way of men in the most discriminatory way, I would hate it.
Right. I think the problem is like they characterize too much. Talking about the historical standpoint, it's like just because women did this doesn't mean they're supposed to do what the exact same thing that happened 50 years ago. Like now we see a lot of women doing different things, and then maybe men can do something that may be different from what they used to do. It's like as time goes on, there's just changes going on, which isn't a bad thing. They're trying to really prove like who they are, and despite the gender, they should be entitled to do anything.
Hmm.
Especially like back in the days when I was in high school, there were a lot of cheerleaders were female students, but lately I see a boy being a cheerleader, which is it's it's their decision, like because they have an interest, um, or maybe it's like it's rare, but it does happen. It's not always a bad thing.
Yeah, I mean, you do have a point right there. Like, it's not okay, and it's not normal. I don't know. I don't even know the words because um I don't know. Like, you can't do stuff like that. You shouldn't be doing stuff like that. And moreover, if you do stuff like that, it's not okay at all. I don't know who in their right mind thinks that way. I don't know who in their right mind acts like that or thinks like that. You know what I'm saying?
Right, right.
So yeah, I mean, what do you do in that situation? Like what do you do?
Yeah, like what we were just discussing. I think they got to stop judging people on what they cannot do because of their gender. It can definitely lead to discrimination. So even though it is true that men and women back in the days did what they did, I feel like now it's like it has to do with the shared interests. Like, here's the thing: I'm not opposed to anyone doing something that they want to do, even though it may not be common for certain people with specified gender to do certain activities. Like when I was talking about like whenever there's a cheerleading dance, we would typically girls, but there are boys that participate in cheerleading, and it shows that the guys who participate in cheerleading, it shows that they're interested. Maybe they enjoy dancing. It doesn't automatically mean it's a bad thing. It's because they have a passion in dancing.
Mm,
That's what they want. It's like they maybe they want to be fit by sharing interests.
mm, yeah.
Yeah, it's really, yeah, it's just like a lot of acceptance going on right now, even to this day.
Yeah, and I do think I guess it's like how people are, right? Because for, um, um, I don't know, like, do you think, like, there'll be a time where people, like, realize, like, even, I don't know why people think, like when I'm saying like boys and girls can't be friends unless it's for um um unless it's like for romantics.
I don't know. I think, I mean, anybody can be friends with anybody regardless of gender. I think from the historical standpoint, it's true. It can be true that they, like I said before, there are times where male, males may want to be friends with females, or more. It can be more than a platonic relationship, to the point where they may have feel. Well, it's more than having feelings. They may there are some guys who may view women as objects, maybe, which is why they wanna not only want to be friend for men to be friends with only men. Um, and for women, it's like maybe I don't know. It's but even before romantic relationships start, it's like you gotta start somewhere before romantic relationship starts. Anyway, maybe they may develop something in common, or maybe they just happen to have shared interests. You know, it's like you gotta
Mm,
start somewhere before you start automatically start thinking of relationships most of the time.
mm. Yeah, so I guess it's more about what people do and how like they do things and like how it is these days, like I I guess how people are and what people do and what people think. It's like not okay.
Yeah,
I don't know how else to word it due to like the fact that it's simply um it's simply not okay. I guess that's the best way of putting it. It's
right.
not okay. So, is there any other way you could like say it?
Yeah, I feel like it's a really complex. It's really complex talking about this, just because mainly anybody can be friends with anybody, really, despite the gender. But in some cases, I think it's from a historical standpoint, maybe because sometimes, especially for women, sometimes there are times where women may not want to be friends with the guy in case if they can take advantage of them sexually, or more than being friends, and maybe they're not interested in starting a romantic relationship, and yet the guy maybe then follows them. If that makes sense.
Mm. Well, you shouldn't be forcing a relationship either.
Right. Which can create unhealthy boundaries, which can lead them to being blocked on social media, blocking phone numbers, and eventually where they can get a restraining order. Like it's like stalking behavior.
Yeah. How would you say it works for like uh um how would you say like for work?
Oh, same analogy.
Well, like for work, yeah, like it's kind of strange like having a relationship you have with someone in work
Yeah,
because you view them as a colleague and not as a person you want to be romantic with.
yeah, it is hard, just because there's some coworkers who prefer not to talk about private or personal life because at work they're there to do the job, and their main task is to get the job done. It's not really the time to like discuss anything personal unless if they chose to when they have lunch or something. But at the same time, you want to get a reputation. You want to think coworkers, colleagues, of course. You shouldn't take advantage of by crossing the boundaries, like touching them, asking them to like be in a relationship. Their main point is just to get the work done. And yeah, there have been cases where some people would report the coworker just because they're making them uncomfortable or they cross the boundary, which can lead someone to have a bad reputation, professional reputation. And then the person who was accused could get like written documentations of the actions they did.
Hmm. Yeah, so I want you so how can you like yeah, um I get that friends um in work it's really difficult. But my thing is um my question is to you then like what happens if like in work you do become friends with them and at the same time they start acting like a bunch of hypocrites or you're acting like a hypocrite.
Oh, if you
And I
decide to
ask
go
and
ahead.
I say this because in celebrities they act like oh they're popular, they can be above like what the normal person is doing. So that's why I asked that question.
Mm, what happens if you became friends and became a hypocrite? Well, if this happens while you're at work, can be really easy to be spot on, and, because they don't tolerate hypocrites there. Their goal is to really get the task done, and you don't want to use up the time just to like only social and do random things together. I mean, here's the thing: during lunch is at my current job, I do see a lot of coworkers talking. They would talk. Some people do talk about personal life, but they do talk about like events that are happening around the world, that kind of thing. But the thing I rarely see is them touching each other, for them to use to really tease them. And you want to create an environment where coworkers can get along and to be a team. That's really what the purpose of the job is. But at my other job, I've heard some of my coworkers, they do offer to go out for dinner just as friends, just to be nice, just be open, that kind of thing. But yeah, definitely not starting relationships. Probably a bad idea.
Do you think like a celebrity who has a relationship or just a celebrity in general should be a normal person and be viewed as a normal person?
Yes, I do. Especially like you can be popular all you want. You just gotta be mindful to respect people's boundaries. So yeah, even just because you're popular doesn't mean you get to be above somebody. Especially when I met the football coach. His job, like he wants to do something where he wants to inspire positivity and to have fun. And he never like he did everything appropriately. He wouldn't do something inappropriately, otherwise he would be kicked out. So he was there because he wanted to spread fun and to help the athletes. That was really his main point. Like he doesn't want to like make fun of them or anything. He's more like an easygoing person. So as a celebrity, you want to do something good for the people, not do something that makes people uncomfortable. And then by being dominant, be the person above anyone else. I don't think it's cool. And if you do something bad, something to the point where you make someone uncomfortable, and yet you do it, and that should be signs that you shouldn't be doing that. The things you do to make someone uncomfortable, like touching them inappropriately, calling them names, that kind of thing. View them as lower status, or just take advantage of them.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think it's the case here. Here, you gotta like. I mean, you have to be yourself, but you gotta find some way to set like set like aspirations, guide people or something, not just take advantage of them. I've heard cases where some celebrities do take advantage of them, of especially some leaders and some governors. I'm not going to mention their names. There was a one governor in one state who was accused of like touching women inappropriately, even though he was very well known to the state. And at one at one point I think he resigned because he doesn't want to really be like impeached or something over an accusation, being accused of touching women inappropriately. And yeah, there were many complaints against him, even though he was very well known to his state as a governor. So, like I said in the beginning, your actions can positively and negatively affect the person's well-being. And in this case, he made the women uncomfortable, and therefore the women is expressing their concerns about being touched inappropriately.
Yeah, I do agree. Um, I do agree 100%.
Or maybe the celebrity may not know what their actions can negatively affect. Which is another reason why you got to like think first. Do you think they'll be okay if you did something to them? How are they gonna get what reaction will they show you or perceive when you do such this and that thing? And it's gonna make someone uncomfortable. Like I said, it's like every person's is gonna have a different outcome of how their behavior affects people negatively. That's why, like for example, in workforces, that's why they have rules. Especially like you don't want to touch anyone without touch them inappropriately. I mean, one time I remember I was working with a coworker and then he randomly touched me. I should have reported, but I just didn't. And I guess I kind of felt weird. I didn't really make a big deal of it, but the coworker should not have done that. What could happen if I report them? Would he be taught a lesson? Would he be given an opportunity to learn that touching people is not okay? I mean, I've had some of my coworkers who tend to like pat on my shoulder. Even though it's usually viewed as a thing, you still gotta be careful. Like, there are some people who do not like to be touched. The only way you could like interact is touch is like by handshake or high five or a fist bump. At work, I usually like to fist bump my coworkers, like whenever I greet somebody. But if you can touch them, like touch on the shoulder for a prolonged time, that's considered inappropriate touching.
Hmm.
You know?
And where was it exactly?
Oh, when someone touched me?
Yes.
Okay. So I was doing a work trip in North Carolina. I mean, my coworker, he was a very good coworker. We were working with a client at a supermarket, taking measurements. So I was in the produce area, and then this coworker touched me on, like, he used his fingers to touch my arms, my bare arms, and I didn't say anything because I didn't think it was a big deal. But if I were someone else, I would be like, "Hey, can you stop touching me?" Like, no person should touch people like that. I mean, for me, like, everyone's different, but a pat on the shoulder is fine. Someone tapping on me to get attention, that's fine too. But if they're gonna like hug me randomly out of nowhere, then yeah, that's gonna be an issue. I mean, that's just for me personally. I mean, there's some. I've had some. I think one of not my supervisor, but there's a manager or a director who would some. There was one time where a person, like a director, would walk past me and he would always pat my back, pat my shoulder, and that's fine. But if it's like, I don't know, if it's like a prolonged hug or trying to get into my space and touch me, like, no, that shouldn't be. That's not okay. And there are some people who do not like to be touched at all. Like, a pat on the shoulder might not be okay to someone, even though the person who offered a pat on the shoulder is trying to bring good intentions.
Hmm.
You know, I've had some teachers who would pat on my shoulder, or sometimes they would put their hands on their shoulder, maybe as a way to offer support or something. I've seen that. That happened to me before. Like, I don't know. It might. I mean, some students may not like it, but I don't mind it. I guess it depends on who you're dealing with. Some people don't mind touches. Some people hate being touched.
Hmm. Yeah, like workers should be your colleagues, and if they are your friends, you have to be very careful.
Right.
And then another thing is, um, I will say, it's absolutely not okay when I am, you know, it's absolutely not okay when friends, I mean, colleagues get to be, even like celebrities, act like hypocrites. Like, for example, like, I've seen a lot of coworkers, and I want your opinion on this.
Yeah.
I've seen a lot of coworkers or even celebrities where they would post about their life, but then go on and not answer questions about their life
Yeah.
to a normal person or their colleague, or they would be like, I'm not gonna. Yeah, something like that. How would you? What do you think of that when celebrities post their life, but they don't want to talk about it when asked?
Oh, I understand what you're saying. Maybe maybe they don't want to expose the information of their personal life, maybe because they think it's not too important for them, or maybe they're afraid that someone could use that information against them, especially like in case if there's like, if they're gonna stalk somebody or you find someone to stalk the celebrity. I mean, I don't think it's happened as often, but if that were the case, I could understand why. Um, or maybe they're just trying to protect their themselves from like having the information being dispersed to others, even though they're public figures. And or maybe they just think it's not important to discuss personal lives. Maybe they want.
Mm.
I mean, there are celebrities who choose not to disclose private information for for many reasons. And
Yeah, but what I don't like is, um, you post it on your social media, but you don't talk about it on air. That seems hypocritical.
I know it has. I mean, then why would they post in the first place, right? Why would they post in the first place? But at the
And
same
even
time,
when,
that
hold on, even when posting their kids, some of them put emojis, some of them put it behind like the kid's face, some of them even blur the kid's face,
mm,
or even like they crop it the kids um uh the kid their kids out, or stuff like that. Like I don't think that's okay at all.
hmm. Or maybe they just don't want to expose the kid's name or expose the kid's face fully. Just maybe they just want to show that they have a child, but without really detailing their child, like by sharing names or sharing their faces.
But don't you
Maybe,
think that's hypocritical because you're posting it,
right?
but you don't talk about it?
Yeah, I do. I mean, why did they post it in the first place? And
Yeah, like, yeah, it's hypocritical. But, you know, I mean, yeah, like, I asked that because I've seen that before. Like, high
mm,
profile people do that. They post it and then they don't talk about it online. It's like, that's really weird.
yeah, or there are some celebrities who may not always comment on every single thing on social media.
Yes, yes, that's another thing. Like, there are some celebrities who are like, I don't know what you call it, like a walking, talking advertisement, or
Yeah,
like act robotic. So like, whenever question about a serious thing, take like Russia, Ukraine, or the Middle East, they kind of give like a very vague answer. So that
yeah,
way, if they ever go in detail and say who they support or who they don't support, whoever, they could get canceled and not have a job.
right. I think yeah, that's another thing. It's like you gotta be careful what you post. I mean, I'm talking about the teacher's respect. I've seen posts of teacher. This is an incident where a Republican candidate. You know what I'm talking about? I think this happened maybe several months ago, and Charlie Kirk. So
Yes. Oh yeah.
similar example, right?
Charlie Kirk's Well,
Char-
okay. Charlie Kirk was an activist,
right,
and he was starting to reject what Israel was doing. And then what ended up happening was he got shot,
right.
which is sad. But the issue came that people were celebrating that he died.
Yeah, particularly the teachers. I mean, anyone talks about, it, but I'm saying like I've heard professors and teachers, when they do post something like that, they often get investigated. Would they get removed from teaching positions because of what they posted? Regardless, like, I believe, blah blah blah, and then for some reason they must have been contacted by someone, and then per do an investigation. Like, teachers are not supposed to promote like hatred, right? So just because you disagree with someone doesn't they shouldn't be licensed to say whatever they want. Like, they were saying like, oh, he deserves this and that. Like, no, you shouldn't say that, because you have to think about like who can see the comments, right? What if the student sees it? Will they report it to the principal? What could happen to the teachers then? That's why you gotta always be careful what you say. Maybe that's another reason why not a lot of celebrities comment on every single thing.
Yeah.
It's like they're trying to protect their professional reputation.
Yeah, Kevin, do you want to catch up what we've been talking to Josh?
Yeah, we've been talking mostly about. I think we were saying something about why. I think you said something like, if you have a female friend who, and the female friends would say to their friends not to be friends with the male friends, and vice versa.
Well,
And
I was
also
saying
we talked about
I was saying for work and those things.
Oh yeah, we talked about like what happens if we become more than friends at work, and what happens if we start a relationship, like a romantic relationship at work, and what are the cons of doing so. And we were just talking about like celebrities, how there's some celebrities who may be above people where they can do whatever they want, that kind of thing.
Yeah, what is your opinion on that? What is your opinion, Josh, of like celebrities thinking they're better than others?
Honestly, I just think it's wrong because celebrities may think that they're better than them than others, but ideally that's not the case because we're all different in every way, shape, or form. Nobody's better.
Well, and we should also treat everyone the same.
Exactly.
And a question I asked Kevin, I'll ask to you: what do you think it's hypocritical when a celebrity posts about their life on social media but doesn't talk about it in person? Why or why not?
I think it's hypocritical because, for one, you might or might not be hiding something that your family or whatever doesn't know. And on top of that, the information you spread on social media might be lies. So that's why you gotta be careful on what you say.
I actually
And
that
I actually agree. And on top of that, if you post if a celebrity posts their kids, they should be able to talk about it on air.
Yes.
And what's really crazy to me, Josh, I don't know if you've seen this before, but when they post their kids, they one put emojis on them. Number two, they take the photo behind the kid to not be seen. Number three, they blur the kid out. Number four, they even crop the kid out. Or five, they leave the kid there but turn off comments. And then when it comes to on air, they don't talk about it. Have you seen something like that before?
Not recently, but yeah, it's not something I would want to see. in the near future because it's just there's just something way off about that.
Yeah, like I don't mind people posting about, their life. But if you're going to do it, you have to be open to talking about it.
Yeah, you can't just spread lies and misinformation.
Or you can't just post your information and tell people to not ask you.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, I can almost guarantee that if someone makes a post about life or a family, they're gonna someone out there is gonna ask questions.
It gives, as you said, it's like giving an incentive to the fans.
Yeah.
Now, I know some people don't use social media. That's totally on their part. What do you think of like having I think Kevin touched upon this earlier in the podcast. What do you think of like people having a relationship online?
Um, if it's a long distance family, that's totally understandable. But and I'm making a general statement on this.
Mm-hmm.
If um if anyone does online dating, you need to be careful on what risks you're taking, such as potential catfishing, um, finding out whether or not that person's real, or on top of that, you also need to watch out for um, inquiry of personal information. Those are signs you need to watch out for when it comes to online relationships, and it can be anything. And and on top of that, um, it's not just it doesn't just go for dating. It goes for pretty much everything online. You just gotta be careful on what you say and what you and on your actions.
What do you think of like relationships with AI? Because we've talked about like artificial intelligence, but what do you think of like people having relationships with artificial intelligence?
I think AI is just well, as far as the AI goes, I think there's just something way off about that because you know AI is just a robot. It's not a real person. It's like a computer type of deal
Yeah.
or technology. But yeah, I just find something way off about AI for pretty much anything.
So you that would include relationships.
Yeah, most
Yeah,
likely.
I would agree with you because yes, I do like AI in some cases, like helping with grammar, looking up stuff, but I think people need to understand is like if AI takes over the world, we're extremely doomed because if we then have that, our relationships with people are going to be sociopathic and parasocial relationships. Would you agree? Why or why not?
I would probably agree because we would, like you said, we would all be in hot water if AI took over the world, which hopefully doesn't turn out to be the case. I'm not saying it will happen, but I think for the near future, I think we should be fine.
Yeah. AI can be good in, just for the audience, AI can be good in some cases, like Siri, Alexa, those things. But when you're talking about something like a robot doing your work, or like certain base level things, it's gonna ruin us.
Mm.
And having a relationship with AI is bad. That's what I'm trying to get at. Yeah, Kevin, what do you think of like
Excuse me.
you're good, Josh. What do you think of like relationships with AI, Kevin?
Well, first of all, I don't think AI has the capability of matching the feelings for what the person wants, you know? Because I feel like AI focuses on facts, right? And commands rather than discussing how about feelings, because AI doesn't care about feelings, obviously. So AI can be useful as far as provide a command, telling you, asking for a command, that kind of thing. Like, oh, can you set up a timer for this, or can you summarize in the document I created? That's fine, but if you're gonna always rely on using AI to do everything for you, there's a good chance that it may not always work out well. Maybe the AI is not familiar with what we want them to do. It may provide inaccurate information or something different from what we expect. So, yeah, AI can be useful, but you just cannot rely on using AI too much when it comes to gathering facts and providing and whenever it gives out the information on like a history project or so, it may give out something that you may not anticipate, or you may get something different from what you want. So yeah, relationship with the AI, you gotta be very careful.
Yeah.
You cannot rely
Yeah.
too heavily on it.
Yeah. I'll ask this. What would you do in a situation where you found out your friend is having a relationship with a criminal?
Ooh. Do you want to go first, Josh?
Yeah, why not? I would have to. I Luckily I don't know anybody who I'm friends with that is in a relationship with a criminal, but this is just a general statement. If if someone I know was in a relationship with a criminal, I would block them on everything. I would shut all communication off because I don't want that criminal to do anything to me or the person who I'm friends with. But at the same time, though, on the other hand, what I could do instead is have that person end a relationship with that criminal and warn him or her, depending on the situation, about the criminal.
And also, it could be an ex criminal. I
Yeah,
think, like, when it comes to an ex criminal, you have to be cautious.
yeah.
So, like, an ex criminal is like you spent your time in prison and everything. Now you can't have a relationship with a sex criminal, or you can't be friends with a person. Like, you can't be friends with a person who has a relationship with a sex criminal. That does not make any sense.
And you also uh, you also can't be in a relationship with someone who stalks, manipulates, or does any of that.
Also, you can't. Well, you. I think you can be friends with someone who's wrongly convicted as long as it, makes sense. Like, for example, if the person was wrongfully convicted and it was overturned, I think that's fine.
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
Mhm.
Um, Kevin, you want to say anything?
Yeah, if you find like if I don't know the person who's hanging out with somebody as a criminal, I mean, you gotta be careful anyway. Sometimes you gotta I guess, be able to pay attention. You're not always gonna find out quickly if the person is a criminal or has like a criminal behavior of, like, for instance, stalking. It's like you may need to read the body language of your friend interacting with. If you see someone interacting with someone, it's like, okay, they're talking, but it's like, how do I know if they're a criminal? But if I know someone's a criminal, I don't know. That's a big question. I think your first step is, are you still comfortable hanging out with your friend? if you want to help them, maybe you should maybe have a private conversation with them, saying, "Oh, I heard this," but at the same time, will your friend believe you? Or another step is, no matter how much hard it's going to be, if it's your best friend interacting with someone who's a criminal, is it safe for you to unfriend the person in case if your friend gets back at you and now becomes a criminal? Like, which one is worse? I mean, you got to use your judgment. You got to make your own decision for yourself. What's more important? Because you don't want to be in a situation where someone can take advantage of you as a for them as a criminal to do horrible things to you. So the decision lays on you. What do you want? What do you not want? Is it important to take care of yourself first, or is it important to help your friend out realizing what's going on? But at the same time, that your friend made the choice. Maybe they don't know, but either way, they may find out either way. So I don't
What
know.
if you? What if you? What if you? Okay, answer this in two parts. What if you're friends with? Okay, let's just say this in general. What
Mm-hmm.
if you're friends with someone who then becomes a criminal?
Yep.
And what if you're friends with someone who's a criminal and is no longer convicted of the crime they're accused of?
Okay. To answer your first question, right? If I'm friends with someone who's a criminal, right? You said.
Yeah, who ends up being a criminal?
Yeah. I think the safest for me is just do not interact with the person. You never know what your friend's going to do. Especially like if they're on the news, or if they're confused, if they're accused for doing something like a murder, or even if it's less than murder, like shoplifting. The ethical question is like, how can I protect myself? So I think distancing from themselves is appropriate for me in this case. But to answer your second question, that is a really difficult question because it depends on which crime who were wrong who they committed the crime, but their charges are acquitted. Right? Is that what you're saying?
Yes.
Okay. I mean, it depends on what crimes they committed. Again, you got to be able to protect yourself, but at the same time, I know there's some people who tend to judge quickly than others, which is, depends on like if you're talking about yourself as a victim, or if you're talking about yourself helping the person who is wrongfully convicted of, oh, which charges are acquitted. So, um, if you're comfortable, maybe I guess listen to them, see what their side is, and then maybe do some research on the facts that the court found on what happened. And I've also seen cases of where someone who was accused of, like, falsely accused of murder, right? And it turned out that the murder didn't, that it was the wrong person. And then they were acquitted. The charges were acquitted. I mean, if it's on the news, then yeah, I can understand that. But it's like, this can be a chance for you to maybe know the person more, understand why they were accused in the first place. But at the same time, it depends on what charges they were in, or if they were convicted, but at the same time they decided to drop the charges because they were able to, fulfill the requirements that the court asked them to do. Okay, yeah, I don't know. It's like it depends on what they were charged with.
Mhm.
You know,
Yeah.
it really depends.
Yeah, Josh, how would you respond to that? Would you agree with Kevin?
I would totally agree. And to answer your first question, my first step, as hard as it is or will be in the first place, but the best bet is to shut all communication off from that person if said person is a criminal or convicted of such, as well as blocking that person on every social media platform you have, and then after that, if you are comfortable enough, ask to unblock that person for the sole purpose of asking as to why that crime was made in the first place. And to answer your second question, it it just depends on the type of crime. But if if someone is if someone is wrongfully convicted or accused of murder, the charges will probably be lifted at that point, unless they don't have enough evidence. But in most cases, they should.
Yeah, like if a person was to me, like if a person was found not guilty, then guilty, I wouldn't be friends with them. If they were straight up guilty, I wouldn't be friends with them. If a person was charged, then later acquitted, or they were convicted first, like served time in prison, and then found it not guilty, I would be friends with them, but I would have to be cautious, you know, because it's like you're playing like lottery. I think we talked about it in teamwork, like in work,
Yeah.
teamwork, like we were talking about that. And
Mhm.
also, what would you, okay, to ask in a general way, what would you do if a colleague of yours was working with you but has a criminal case pending?
Mm. Yeah, that um, not me personally, but you just gotta be careful of on what that person's doing. Um, Overall, though, it depends on the situation. Like if the colleague is wrongfully accused of murder or murder they didn't commit, and they were later acquitted, I would be very cautious as to what their next move is likely going to be. If they were, however, if they were straight up guilty or pleading not guilty and then guilty, then I would shut all communication off and make no further interactions. Because
Yeah,
as hard as it is now, it'll really pay off like down the road.
yeah. Are you, yeah, and do you think like people who are criminals should not be at work when they have a job?
Yeah, yeah, a criminal should definitely not be at work because of the criminal charge they have against them, or against them, I should say.
Hmm. Okay. Um, yeah. I mean, how would you feel if somebody was having a romantic relationship with a criminal?
I would have to warn that person to be very careful on what that criminal is doing. But if they persist, I would excuse me, I would again shut all communication off and make no further interactions with that person. I don't want to heed by the warnings that they may face down the line.
I hear Kevin eating his food.
I'm sorry.
Oh,
I don't know why I muted myself. But I mean,
don't be sorry.
just having late dinner.
Kevin, what would you do if you had a? What would you do if someone was having a romantic relationship with a criminal?
Oh, I guess it depends. To be honest, I mean, if they don't know offhand that they're criminals, let's just say if they don't know that their their date is committed criminal, I guess you gotta be careful with them first. Unless if they admit their wrongdoing, if they did, then yeah, boy, you gotta like back up. But for those who don't know they're committed crime until they found out, yeah, you gotta be careful, be vigilant. if they ask you something that's out of the blue, then that can definitely be signs that you should be careful with or not date with them at all. Because a lot of criminals tend to try to hide things without letting them know what really happened to them. You know?
Yeah, and yeah, I mean, for family, it's good to have a relationship. If you don't have one, it's understandable, and you need to explain that. But yeah, and ultimately, you cannot have romantic relationships with your family members
Right.
because that is what you call incest.
Yes. Like,
Certainly.
it's illegal.
I don't know why. In some country, I don't know. It's like you marry your cousin. Why would you marry your cousin romantically?
Oh, I know.
Yeah, that's just weird and stupid.
Even distant cousins, too.
Even cousin marriages, you can have that in the U.S.
Wait, they do?
Yeah.
Just not first cousins?
Um. Okay. Cousin marriage in U.S. You said.
Yeah.
So okay. So it's legal in one, two, three, four, five. It's only legal. It's weird though. It's legal in some states.
Do you know which states?
Okay, California, Alaska, Hawaii, Colorado, um, New Mexico,
Mm.
Florida, Alabama, Georgia, South Carolina, Virginia, Maryland, New Jersey, New York,
Oh,
Vermont,
right.
Massachusetts, Connecticut, and Rhode Island.
Wow.
Oh
They
my.
legalized it?
What?
Did they say it was legal?
Yes.
Wow. When did they made it legal?
I don't know. But Massachusetts has it legal. So, Kevin and Josh, you could hypothetically marry your cousins.
Oh, I don't know if they're gonna have feelings for me. You know, we should. Here's the thing: we share the same blood. Because I mean, maybe like it depends on which cousin. I mean, first cousins might be. You may be closer with the first cousins because we share the same something common with the blood, right?
Yeah.
That's the thing.
And it's also weird. Like, none of us would do that, but,
No.
And actually, some states recognize cousin marriages from other states.
Wow.
Oh my.
I didn't even know that.
And the reason why it's bad, yeah, so you cannot have a relationship with your family members romantically. If you do, you are weird, and the adult should be a sex criminal.
Mm.
If and also there have been cases where romantic relationships within families produce kids.
Oh yeah,
Mhm.
crazy.
Yeah, so what questions do you have?
For anything?
Yeah, relating relationship.
Hmm. This is gonna be an interesting question. Do you
Hmm.
think a relationship between your parents is as is more important than being in a relationship with your spouse? It's like a question out of the blue, but I'm just curious to see what you think.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Um,
No, sounds
I
weird.
I think having a relationship with your spouse is you said more important, right?
Hey, which one's more important?
Oh, yes. So having a marriage with your spouse is much more important than having one with your cousin because for one, you don't have to worry about getting a lecture for marrying your cousin.
Or from
That's
oh
any
from
of
your
the yeah.
oh
And on top of that, it makes more sense to marry your spouse.
yeah. But at the end of the day, they're gonna be your parents.
Yes.
Interesting.
Mm.
Hey, how about you, Rahul?
I mean, it depends because let's say your family doesn't treat you right, you put your spouse first. If your spouse doesn't treat you right, you put your family first.
Mm,
If they treat you equally fine, it depends, but if they don't treat you both right, you don't treat them at all correctly.
right.
This goes with like family and then friends and family and coworkers.
Hmm. I guess it depends. I mean, you have to value what's important to you. I mean, especially like when you're an adult, is it more important to take care of your parents as they grow older, or do you want to start a family? And then talking about financially, do you have the money to pay for marriage? So, was it more important then? And it sounds like a question out of the blue, but I was just curious.
Josh, your turn.
I think I already answered, unless different question.
Oh, I'm saying you can ask the next one.
Oh, oh, my apologies. Hmm, trying to think. This is gonna be a tough one. Hmm. What's more important, your safety or your marriage?
What's more? Which one?
Um, is your marriage or your safety and well-being more important?
Oh, safety, as in what do you mean by
Yeah,
safety?
like
Steve.
safety as in, you know, um, well-being. Let's put it that way.
Oh,
Which
well
one's
being.
more? Yeah.
Oh, it's important. Is it so? Is it more important to prioritize your well being versus marriage? Right? Is that what you asked?
Yes. Yes.
Mm,
I mean, both. Well, because again, it's like situational. That's the thing.
Hmm.
I would say it depends on what you feel. If you're ready to be in a relationship, get married, great. If you want to grow your family, good. But if you don't feel that you're ready to be, if you want to prioritize your well in terms of like you want to keep something to yourself, or if you have priorities with financial burdens, and I would say prioritize your well-being. It really depends on the situation you're in. If you feel like you're ready, great. If not, then it's not too late.
Yeah.
It takes time.
Hmm.
Yeah, and also if the relationship, whether it's you and the child or you and your spouse goes bad, the law enforcement can get involved.
Yeah.
Even if you do it through social media, friends, family, coworkers, whoever,
Mhm.
even school, law enforcement will get involved. So either you the person and everyone involved will have a bad situation. Ah.
It is confusing, but well, not confusing. It is. It's just so complex. Just depends on what the person's feeling. But you gotta do what's best for you. Ultimately, you have to figure out like what's more important to you.
Yeah. Yeah. Um. Yeah. I mean. Yeah. What else? I mean. Yeah. Like so. Let's say this for friends, it's fine,
Hmm.
but don't make it romantic or sexual
Right.
unless you're okay with it. Um.
Right.
And also, friends can co-parent and have kids. My mom did tell me that one time. If you have if you um whether you are divorced or not,
Right.
if you are in a romantic relationship, just make sure you don't share details about your sex life.
Right. I don't feel like
Um,
you need to know that.
I don't. I mean, here's the thing: people shouldn't know about that because it's like, why? It's like, why are we disgusting? And also, you
Right.
shouldn't ask stuff about that stuff. Like, are you in a relationship? If so, what is it like? And if you say no, I don't want to talk about it. You shouldn't do something about it. Or if you know if you're uncomfortable
Hmm.
and you give an answer that's uncomfortable, like it's understandable. You don't want to talk about it.
They're within their rights not to talk about anything if they don't want to share anything.
Yeah. I mean, I told you one time a teacher did ask me that. Like, do
Right.
I
Yes.
have feelings for this girl? And I was like, yes. That's like you don't ask that. You're not qualified to ask that.
It's
Like, and
personal.
then by that logic, a student can ask a teacher, "What is your sex life?"
Right. That's
Yeah,
not why students are in school. They are in school to get the materials they need. That's what I was saying earlier when we were talking earlier about teachers maintaining professional boundaries with the students. Like the teacher's job is to help students, not to social. Well, to like go across the boundaries by touching people, touching the students, and go beyond than what they're doing.
Hmm.
mm,
And if you did that, then it's gonna be hard for you to find different job positions because they can check on everything, including background checks. If you're convicted for the criminal sex offender, because I think a lot of schools will check on those because they want to make sure students are safe. Yeah, as a matter of fact, a lot of schools do. Several schools require someone to check if they have a criminal sex offenders because it can be hard to get a job teaching positions if they do have a criminal sex offender. Yep, that's why you got to think before you
Hmm.
yeah. And also, if a person and a friend of yours is having a criminal case in work, we should not have them there. Would you guys agree?
Wait,
Yes.
what did you say? What did you say?
If a colleague of yours is in your workplace
Uh huh.
and has a criminal case, would you agree that that person should not be in there? Why or why not?
I don't think they should be at work when they have a criminal case in case if they're gonna do something terrible. And what if they fabricate a story and try to fabricate the story, you know? And I mean, you gotta be safe at the same time, you know. I guess you gotta be careful what you ask them if you find out what happened. You know, what do you think, Josh?
I would have to agree 100% that the colleagues who are convicted of a criminal, especially if it's true, should definitely not be there in case they commit another crime. And another question to ask is, what will that person do next now that they know they've committed a crime?
Yeah, something bad.
Yeah, something actually much worse than what they did.
Yeah,
To put the problems behind.
Yeah.
and also if someone is acquitted or pled not guilty later on, they have a right to sue.
Yeah.
So yeah, we talked about that in teamwork. It's just like, and also another thing, if you are in politics, whatever, make sure that your relationships are normal, because I don't like what the Jeffrey Epstein files is showing. It's not okay.
Mm. I believe there's an island he owned. I saw like
Yeah,
a video on
and
Facebook. Something about.
in other places he owned, it's not okay.
I mean, if it happened, it happened, and
And it did happen, Kevin, and
yes, yes.
a lot of people aren't happy that the files are fully declassified.
Well, what he did, he knew what he did.
Mhm.
He just, yeah, like it's too late to hide things again. Too late. Yep, there's a lot of crazy people going around doing horrible things. I think for like as far as relationship, you want to do something good for the people. I feel like we said this many times before. You want to do good things for the people, and you want to demonstrate. I mean, you gotta be transparent about yourself, but it's like for a relation, like you want to find a way. Like if you want to be like an influencer or a teacher, you want to be the type of person you like guiding people to make good decisions. Or if aside from teaching the materials, maybe you could maybe engage the students by writing the quote of the day and maybe help them understand the significance of the quote that the teacher found and wrote on the board. And teach them good examples on what it's like to demonstrate responsibility and showing dignity and being transparent about yourself is important. Because if they
Yeah,
tell you what's going on, then you can then find some way to help them.
yeah, but when it comes to politics, it's the who, and you can't be doing things that doesn't make sense. Like, even though I don't agree with like what President Vladimir Putin is doing,
Right.
what you can't do is have a relationship where you're gonna destroy you're gonna like destroy your own country by sending taxpayer money to Ukraine. I
Right.
think people realize that now, including the Middle East, which I'm not going to get into a tangent here, but a rant here, but it's not okay, honestly. We are our taxpayer money to there, and the president doesn't realize that whatsoever. I also think that um, another thing, it's that like we shouldn't like have to listen to certain things that people
Right.
provide. Like I don't like it when the president, goes on, especially Trump says a bunch of things that aren't true,
Mhm.
and then makes it look like as if it is true. Like, come
Oh,
on,
yeah.
like, come on now, like, you know better than this.
Yeah. The decisions you make can affect people. This is a little bit off topic, but I saw a post that has to do with Waltham. So there was a mayor who decided that in the common, the event has to only last for 4 hours maximum. And a lot of residents were against her idea. I don't know if it's enforced though, but she created that idea saying, "Oh, people can only have an event up to 4 hours at the common," and a lot of people find it ridiculous. However, putting up the tent and putting the tent down does not count within the 4 hour time frame. But they still think it's too short to host an event less than 4 hours. So okay, yep, this is a choice the mayor made, but how are the people reacting to that?
Yeah. And also, like, I don't know if you heard this, guys, but the UK is introducing digital IDs,
Really?
and Australia banned social media for anybody under 16. And the EU is doing this, and now the United States is actually going to implement on Discord. And they kind of did this on YouTube, where on Discord, if they're going to do something where if you or you're going to be restricted from accessing an adult website, and if you do it, you have to take a photo of your face
Mm.
in order to
Wow.
do it. And in Australia, they implemented this for banning under the age. And then in Europe, starting in the European Union, they're starting to implement it. So it's almost as if it's like that kind of relationship is not okay,
Mm-hmm.
because you're basically going against free, like, civil rights. And I understand China has this, but like China is a lot worse, and for whatever reason we're becoming communists. That's not okay.
Yes, I think when you talked about like accessing adult websites, and then whenever they ask you for an ID, I understand from their point, like they don't want any underage children to view those things. Okay, that's the law. But asking for a picture of your face, what the thing that I disagree with is, I don't know, what's the picture going to use for? Is it for biometric reasons? And
Yes.
and
Yes.
what if they sell my information with my picture, even though my intent was to access the adult website? Because I feel like adult websites, it's like freedom, right?
Well, hold on. Adult websites and event and Discord,
Right.
which is so weird. In Australia, it's like so weird. I understand like adult webs. I don't understand adult websites, because why can't you just ban it?
Right. Right. Yeah. And as far as Discord, I mean, it's like a group chat. Like you chat inside, and is it because they're afraid that there could be underage children there? Is that why they ask for like a photo of your face?
Yeah.
I don't know. I
And
just
and
controversial.
actually, those adult websites were started in Canada, particularly Montreal,
Wait, when did this happen? When did they actually start the adult
like a
website?
few decades back, like 10 or 20 years ago.
Oh, I've heard something about like particular websites like Pornhub or whatever, and you know I heard that they require like IDs or something in order to like access it to prove that you're over 18. But sometimes I heard people lie just to gain content, just to gain into websites to view the content. Yeah, I feel like nowadays it's like it's like it's getting sketchy everywhere. Like everything's going digital now. They're telling you to do this. Okay, yeah, I get they're trying to prevent underage children from seeing those things, but it's like there are risks when you show your face on the webs to just for biometric reasons. It's like I mean I get there will be some people who may lie about the age, but still I don't know. I feel like it's I don't know what is worse in this case, the underage children seeing it or showing your face, taking a picture of your face. I don't know. Like,
Both, both.
right,
Because underage shouldn't see it, and you
right.
shouldn't have to give a copy of your ID online. What do
What
you
if they
think?
like stalk me? What if someone hacks into an account and they find me? They
And
somehow
that's
find.
bad.
Them. Yeah.
And that's bad. Josh, do you want to say anything?
Uh, yes, I have to agree by saying, um, people should definitely not be viewing types of pornography or anything like that at all, especially if you're underage, because it's just bad for you. And on top of that, it'll be harder to be in a relationship as you grow older.
Yeah.
Mm.
Yeah. So what is it like? I think it's not okay, and it's insane. So yeah, I don't know. Like it's a good thing to discuss because if you then start having a relationship in a toxic way towards your own people and you're a leader of a nation, it's not
Yeah,
okay whatsoever.
yeah, I agree.
And the other part of it is you toxicity is bad. What would you do to get rid of that toxicity in any relationship?
I would, like I said earlier, I would shut all communication off and block them from every social media platform I have. That's my best approach. And and before you do that, though, only if need be, give them an explanation as to why you're ending the relationship.
Yeah.
Because especially in today's society, you gotta be careful on what you say and also what you do.
Yeah, good point.
Mm.
Yeah, and also like with our ex-friend, you we can't it's like not okay to do that. So, I mean, what he did was wrong, but I don't think he realizes what he did was wrong.
Mhm.
So, I mean, at least you blocked him. I actually hope he doesn't show up to baseball this summer. So,
Uh, Supposedly, there's only one way to find out, and believe it or not, 1 week from Monday will be one whole year since I blocked this ex-friend.
tomorrow?
No, a week from Monday.
Ah, okay.
Next Monday. So not this Monday coming up, but the following Monday is 1 year since I blocked this ex-friend.
Yeah, and okay. Just to end this, tomorrow is my birthday, and I am
Happy early birthday.
Happy
yeah,
early birthday, Raul.
yeah. I'm gonna turn 22 tomorrow.
Are you excited?
Somewhat. I mean, it's gonna be interesting to say the
You know,
least.
I don't want to get old.
Maybe you could reverse your aging.
Oh, true. Numbers are just numbers.
Yeah,
I want to appear youthful.
I'll be older if I switch my numbers around. That's for sure.
Yeah, it's not fun, but as you get older, you feel good that you accomplished a lot of things you did in life. When you retire, you just enjoy every moment in your life.
Mhm.
Oh wow, we reached 3 hours. Wow, wow.
Yeah. It's gonna be fun tomorrow. So, what do you have to say for this episode, Josh?
All I have to say is thank you for listening tonight. This was overall a pretty interesting topic, and I certainly had fun tonight, even though my time wasn't nearly as long as these guys.
Yeah. Did you get those? Are those new headphones you got?
Yes, I won them during a raffle at work.
Hmm. Raffles.
Yep.
And what were the prizes? Other prizes you could have gotten?
Hmm. I'm not too sure, but I got this less than a week before Christmas last year. So,
Hmm. Oh, okay.
yeah,
Have you've been using them on the podcast, right?
I believe I have.
Hmm. Cause like I have like one here. I don't have my old one because like this portion is like blown out a little. Like it's like not there anymore. So yeah, and also like when you have headphones, like you can hear someone clearly.
Yeah.
I still may
Um,
have the same headphones.
there you go. Um, Raul, are we doing a topic? I mean, a topic. Are we playing a game tonight or no?
Next week. Next time.
Oh, okay.
Are you guys gonna be doing something interesting on Valentine's Day, Lamau?
I'm working that day.
I am too.
What happens if a girl asks you out on that day?
Oh, I don't know. It depends on how
Mm,
old they are. So that's
yes.
something to be mindful of. I don't know. Gotta be careful though.
Yeah.
You don't know if they're underage or
Hmm.
you may look older than their actual age, but you still gotta be careful. Why my phone's
Yep.
hot for and heating?
Yeah.
So, when's the next podcast going to be?
Um, I guess it could be the final week of February
Okay.
because you remember for February, it's 4 weeks, and this is like 1 month where it's like a perfect 4 week month if you saw it.
Oh, February 29th, you mean? Or
No, because the first February 1st started on Sunday, and
oh,
February 28th ends is on Saturday, so that's 4 full weeks.
oh my God! I didn't even like think. I didn't even think about it for some reason. I don't know why. But
Because if you check the calendar, that's what I'm saying.
yeah, absolutely. I didn't even think of that about it for some reason. Um, yeah, it was an interesting month.
Yes.
I I still like warm weather, unless if you're if you're in the southern hemisphere now, it'll be very warm, like Australia, definitely. But if you're here, it's cold.
Yeah.
I mean,
Well,
yeah,
oh, sorry. So while it'll be summer in less than 6 months from now, over here it'll be winter in Australia per se.
yes, exactly. They don't get snow as much though.
Yeah.
Yeah, which is really interesting.
Mhm.
And the sun will be on the northern hemisphere during the summer.
Oh yeah, I can't wait for that.
Oh, summer?
Oh, I can't wait for the warmer months overall.
Yeah, I think this year's going to be really interesting for me. A lot of potentials happening.
Yeah.
Hmm. Yeah, but yeah. You guys are working for this week.
I'll be working for the rest of the week, and Saturday I'll be working. Oh yeah, and this Thursday I'll be go bowling.
Josh, do you want to go bowling with Kevin?
I don't know actually. I mean, I kind of want to go, but at the same time, I might be too tired to go to bowling because, um, although bowling starts at 4, that's the time I get out. So I don't even know if I'm gonna be able to make it.
Yeah, I joined late at 5 o'clock. They were still
Uh,
able to,
uh,
and usually ends at 6.
uh,
So
uh,
I would miss half an hour by coming at 5 because I work in a different town. It takes me half an hour, at least 35 minutes or 40 minutes to get there.
yeah.
Yeah, so Kevin, and what would you like to say to wrap up the podcast?
Yeah, I was gonna say this is a really eventful episode. I mean, I actually was happy Evan got to join tonight, and yeah, there's. I mean, if you're ever going to start a relationship, you want to get a good impression, but you at the same time you want to be able to develop trust, respect, and dignity, and you want to be able to make good choices. You know, there will be times where you may interact with someone who's bad, who's disrespectful, and in which case you may have to decide like if it's appropriate for you to separate yourself or continue. And you gotta be careful what you do or say in any setting, really, especially at work.
Hmm.
Don't cross the boundaries.
I
Either way,
agree.
your supervisor will find out.
Yeah, I mean the final week that's crazy. Um, and tomorrow will be my birthday, so that's
Yep.
good. Um, yeah, so thank you all so much for listening. Tomorrow is my birthday, so there will be no podcast on my birthday. Next week will be a break, and then the final week of February we will do a game,
Okay.
and we will do a podcast episode. Um, this episode was good, and I am sad that the Patriots lost
Yeah,
in
I
the
saw
Super
that.
Bowl.
I watched the last moments, and I wanted to leave early, but I got distracted with seeing the last moments of the game.
Yeah. Um.
Oh, I forgot to ask Kevin. How was the Super Bowl in Evans?
It was good. I Evan actually made home from work around 8 or 8:15 ish. I came at 5:30 to get settled, and I was able to eat snacks and talk with his parents.
Ah, nice. Was it just you and Evan?
Yeah, and his parents. We were all watching. I was hoping more people could come, but at the same time, I guess everyone had a busy schedule.
Yeah,
But Juju went to her friend's house to see the game.
nice.
Yeah. Is there anything you guys would like to say?
I was gonna say thank you all for listening to this episode. It was a really powerful topic, actually, but worth watching.
Yeah. Josh.
Thank you again for listening to our podcast tonight because this, like Kevin said, is a very powerful topic and also an interesting one at that. And I look forward to seeing you all next week
Yeah. Yeah.
or
So
next month.
yeah. So it's episode 73 of the Number by Number podcast. Today is February 10th, 2026 at 8:17 p.m. Thank you so much for watching, and we will see you all next time. Goodbye, everyone.
Have a good night, everyone.